You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 295 of Podketeers. This week we talk about the shops, the eateries, fun facts, Easter eggs, and more as we walk through Galaxy's Edge. The land is so vast and so detailed that I know we missed a lot of things, so we'd love to hear from you and some of your favorite things, secrets, or Easter eggs inside of Batuu. You can join the conversation by leaving a comment on the blog post for this episode at podketeers.com/295. On Instagram, Facebook, or on Twitter, just search for Podketeers. Before we get this episode off the ground, we'd like to thank FreshBooks for their support in sponsoring this episode. FreshBooks is the easy-to-use invoicing software designed to help freelancers and small business owners just like us get organized, save time invoicing, and get paid faster. To try FreshBooks free for 30 days, head over to gofreshbooks.com/Podketeers. And if they ask, how'd you hear about us? Just make sure to enter Podketeers. Of course, we can't get this episode started without sending out a huge thank you to the members of the FGP Squad. The FGP Squad is a group of awesome listeners that help us out with a monthly contribution via Patreon, and it's their support that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. If you like the podcast and want more info on how you can join the FGP Squad family and help us grow, you can start by going to podketeers.com/FGP for more info. As always, we want to send a huge thank you to all of the members of the FGP Squad for their continued support. It's time to get this episode started. I'm going to go get some rest because I hurt right now. You'll find out more about why in a moment. So here we go. This is episode 295 of Podketeers. I usually start these episodes like singing or doing something cheerful.
Yeah.
And I'm having a lot of trouble speaking right now because I'm getting used to having this retainer thing in my mouth. Because I'm going to try to make this a short story, but basically, if you've been listening to the podcast for some time, you know that last year I started having some problems with the wisdom tooth, and I needed to have like a root canal done, and it was like I was in pain. I've been in pain for a while, and I've been kind of just like dealing with it essentially. And it finally got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. I couldn't live through it. It was causing other problems, and my wisdom tooth was coming in at an angle, and it was basically impacting and causing like a weird domino effect for my other molars and my teeth. And so, they did the regular check and everything, and he says, well, okay, look, it looks like you have a couple other problems here that are coming from this issue. So they sedate me, and, they do all this stuff. And long story short, I wake up, and I have a couple teeth less than I did before. And I have this retainer. It's really difficult to speak with this thing in my mouth. I'm getting used to it. It's just odd having this thing off to the side of my tongue where it wasn't there before, right? I can't pronounce certain letters. Like, my tongue doesn't have the full mobility, like, to say certain consonants. Like, S's I have a really hard time with right now. C, X, like that. Like, there's like an additional like caw hissing that happens. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to be dealing with that for a little while. So if you're picking up on that, I'm sorry. But I don't know. I was okay with them doing what they had to do because I know this isn't like Podketeers medical hour, but Like, I didn't know that, like, if you had problems with your teeth like that or anything, that it could lead to heart problems later. And it, like, freaked me out. I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, if this gets worse, it can lead to, like, heart disease. I was like, yeah, dude, do whatever you gotta do. Right? And so it kind of scared me, and it was more preventative now than anything else. But, man, my face hurts. It hurts a lot.
But you're healthier now.
Yeah, I mean, overall, look, after dealing with the pain for so many months, I think the pain that I'm going through over the next few days will kind of, dissipate, and, and over time, once they repair everything else, I think I'll be fine. But, man, just... like, what a way to, like, celebrate my birthday. It's like, surprise!
I know.
You're going into surgery. So, it was... I mean, look, mixed feelings, right? Mixed feelings. There's a lot of positives, but just in the interim, there's going to be this discomfort for an undisclosed amount of time. Because once this heals, they will reevaluate what they need to do. And then they'll figure out, okay, well, this is our course of action next. And then that's going to take some healing. So, yeah, fun times.
Right?
So if there's anything that comes out of this, kids, make sure that you brush your teeth when you're young so that when you're older, you don't have to deal with stuff like this.
But no, sometimes your wisdom teeth, they're useless.
I know.
And you could have great teeth and still
it still doesn't. I mean, look, my kids listen to this, so I'm telling them now,
there
brush
you
your
go.
teeth, take care of your gums, and that way when you're older you don't have to deal with dumb stuff like this, but I gotta empathize. All right, I know I'm doing a lot of complaining, and I know there's a lot of people out there that have worn retainers and that they go through this with braces and stuff like that. Did you wear braces or a retainer when you were younger?
Both.
Really? Did you
Both,
have trouble speaking and everything also?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? How long did it last, or was it like the entire time that you had it?
I want to say it took a few days to get used to it. And then after that, it's like, oh, you forgot it's there, and it just becomes second nature.
But were you able to enunciate?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I had to wear them during school.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I guess it gets better. Because the other problem is also that my gums and everything are swollen from all the stuff that they did.
Chipmunk face.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yep. Telling you, I did that too. Blend everything.
Yeah, it wasn't fun, but I'm glad I got it done. But I know I'm in for some challenging times. I can empathize with anybody that's ever worn a retainer. And, yeah. I've been saying my alphabet over and over. Like, I feel like I'm learning to re-speak with this thing. Learning to enunciate with everything again. The first couple of days were bad. Like, because everything was, like, super swollen. And I could barely speak. Like, I think I'm better. I'm a little bit better now. But it still hurts.
Well, you don't look swollen, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I've been taking a lot of medication to help with that. A lot of anti-inflammatories and antibiotics and everything. And I've been following the regiment to make sure that stuff does not go awry. So, one step at a time. So let's transition over into some park stuff. Oh, actually, before we talk about park stuff, I want to remind everybody that we're going to be doing March Mayhem again this year.
Yeah, we are.
The last couple years we did attractions, we did favorite characters. This year, we are pitting the films from the different eras against each other. So the films from the Renaissance, from the Golden Age, like all of them, like the 4 primary eras of Disney films, we're pitting them up against each other, and you will vote for your favorite, and you will determine the winner. More information is going to be coming up over the next week. I'm excited because that's coming up
Mm-hmm.
very shortly. March Mayhem has been super fun for us to execute the last couple of years, and I think Gavin had been working on how to seed everybody or all of the films, right, so that we can create our bracket.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be posting the entire bracket on the website podketeers.com, and then you'll be able to find it on Instagram as well. We'll update it as the matches happen. What we've done in the past is normally through an Instagram story, we vote for 24 hours and then we post a new matchup during the week. We don't do it on the weekends. So Monday through Friday, we tend to do some of the matchups. So yeah, that's coming up. We're going to be posting more info. So we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that you can experience at Galaxy's Edge. Last week, I was able to give you a little bit of the history of the land, how it came to be, kind of where it all started. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode, please go back and listen. I had a lot of fun researching it and putting that segment together. This week, we're going to be talking a little bit about the land itself, what you can find there, the shops, the eateries, like what you can expect to see, some of the Easter eggs. So we're going to be talking about that when we get back. Today's episode is brought to you with support from FreshBooks. You know, many years ago, I started doing some freelance work, taking photos for businesses, realtors, engagement sessions, and family photos. One thing that I always struggled with, though, was finding a good solution for invoicing, and that's where FreshBooks came in. FreshBooks is the easy-to-use invoicing software designed to help freelancers and small business owners get organized, save time invoicing, and get paid faster. They offer super simple solutions that let you create and send professional-looking invoices in seconds. On top of that, FreshBooks offers great ways to track time worked, create estimates and quotes. You can run reports to see how you're doing, process payments, and if you ever have any questions, their award-winning support team is there to help. If you're always on the move, don't worry. FreshBooks also has easy-to-use mobile apps for iOS and Android. Getting started with FreshBooks is extremely simple. You can try it free for 30 days by going to gofreshbooks.com/podketeers. You can also find a link in the post for this episode on our website. Also, make sure to enter Podketeers if they ask you how did you hear about us. If you're looking for a way to help your business grow, help you with invoicing and billing, get organized and more, FreshBooks is there to help. So give it a shot and check out some of the great features that FreshBooks has to offer. That link again is gofreshbooks.com/podketeers. It's time to get back to the show, but we'd like to thank FreshBooks for their support. So Galaxy's Edge, it's such a beautiful land. There was so much love that went into the detail, into the creation of Batuu, which is the planet that you are on as you visit Galaxy's Edge, and the particular location on Batuu that you are visiting is the Black Spire Outpost. To get into Batuu, there are a couple of ways to do so. The first way is if you, and this is kind of the better way, in my opinion, and that is if you are going past Splash Mountain right before entering the Hungry Bear restaurant, you hang a quick right along the Rivers of America, and there is a long walkway that you can follow. You'll go under a bridge, and as you cross that, you begin to hear more of the ambient sounds of the planet of Batuu. And you hear TIE fighters flying in the background, you hear Wookiees, you hear you don't feel like you're in Disneyland anymore. Like it's a very subtle transition that you begin to hear, and the deeper that you get, all of those sounds just get louder and louder, and the soundtrack begins to become more prominent as you're going into the land itself. You hear droids, you hear blasters. It's just an amazing feeling that you get walking then into that area. And as you walk in, The first thing that you're greeted with, obviously, on the left-hand side of the land, you're going to see Rise of the Resistance, which is the latest attraction to open at Galaxy's Edge. And over on the right-hand side, you're going to see an X-Wing Starfighter and an A-Wing from the original trilogy. There's tons of Easter eggs throughout the land, and I'll mention some of them as we're talking about it, and as we're kind of roaming around. We'll kind of do a walkthrough of everything. But
Right.
In this location, one of the coolest things that you see as you're walking in are tracks on the floor, and those tracks
Yes.
belong to R2D2.
Mm-hmm.
Those tracks, I think, are super cool, and it's one of the coolest Easter eggs inside of the land because they actually use the tracks that belong to the actual R2 unit used in the
Yeah.
original trilogy to make those tracks.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they took the physical ones or if they made a copy so that they didn't damage it, but the fact that it's from the same tracks of the original R2 unit just makes it such a special Easter egg inside of the land.
One thing I wanted to bring up, and Gavin brought this up to us a couple of episodes ago. The sounds that you hear while walking into Batuu, it's very different during day and night.
Ah, yes, that's true.
And I got to hear both scenarios, or both I guess you would say both kinds of sounds, and they're completely different creatures, you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could hear different things. So something you got to do if you're there is just sit down and listen.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird. Like, even though you hear the ships flying by, there's this weird sense of calm that comes over you when you're just kind of sitting there listening to all the creatures and stuff in the background. Personally, I like to be out in the mountains, like in the forest. Like, I love being like a part of nature, and I think I've talked about this before. I don't get a chance to do it very often, but it's like one of my favorite things to do. And so the fact that entering Batuu gives you that sense, just I don't know, there's that instant connection for me that just it's like that famous line, right? Chewie, we're home.
Aw.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Okay, so we're gonna keep walking a little forward. I forgot the name of the stand, but over on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, there's a stand with like helmets and a couple of other different things that you can purchase there as part of the Resistance. If you keep walking forward, you'll be near the marketplace. And the marketplace is just super cool. There's a bunch of shops. There's Black Spire Outfitters. There's Toydarian Toymaker, the Creature Stall, the Jewels of Bith. Like, I love this area of Galaxy's Edge because everything seems so authentic, right?
Yes.
The coolest part about the merchandise that you purchase there is that it's not branded like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. Like, it's all called what it would be called if you were really on this planet. So they just give it the name of the creature. They give it the crazy name of whatever the toy would be. And I just think that's super cool because it doesn't take you out of the element of where you are. It just helps with really conveying that you're on this other planet.
This place probably has like the best theming.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Every single little thing ties together.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I feel comes in close right now, it'll be a different story once Avengers Campus opens, right? But I mean, Cars Land would be the only other thing that I feel rivals that. But even in Cars Land, there's a lot of merchandise that's Disney Pixar's Cars, Disney Pixar's this, California Adventure this, Cars Land that. And when you're on Batuu, that's not the case. Like, everything really feels like you're on planet or off planet. If you're, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that I think is a really special touch that in a way I wish would be used in some of the other lands a little bit more. Like, we already know we're at Disneyland. We already know that we're this. Like, it doesn't have to be on every single piece of merchandise. If it like it's on the foot or like on the back of the toy written really small to know you got this at Disneyland or whatever. That is what it is. But I feel like you don't have to be reminded every single thing that you purchase, basically.
Right.
Let's see. Okay, so if you continue through the marketplace, you'll eventually get to Ronto Roasters. And
Mm-hmm.
Ronto Roasters was the very first location that we had a chance to go eat at when we went to Galaxy's Edge when it opened last year. And have you had a chance to go back and eat there?
I want to say I had their breakfast wrap.
Okay.
It's not bad.
That's kind of why I'm asking, because I remember the Ronto wrap that we purchased.
Right.
It was labeled as a roasted pork pita filled thing with pork sausage and peppercorn slaw and stuff. And I remember the day that we tasted it, it was pretty bland. I didn't like
It was
it all
different.
that much. Yeah, it didn't taste. I thought it was turkey, like at first. Like it just the way that it was seasoned and the way that it was like packaged, it didn't taste
Mm-hmm.
like a pork sausage wrap to me, and it was dry on top of that. So I think it put literally a bad taste in my mouth because I didn't want to go back. But I've
Right.
heard people talk about the wrap now, and I don't know what they changed exactly, but people have told me that it's way better than it was like the first month or
Oh, that's
two.
great.
That from when it opened, like it tastes much better now, that it's not as dry, that it tastes really good. Some people have tried the breakfast wrap that they have there. The sour sarlacc, I think, is one of the best drinks that they have there. That's
Yeah.
the Minute Maid limeade with raspberry and spicy mango.
Yes.
Oh man, that's tasty. So if you ever want just like a quick refreshing drink, you don't taste the spiciness, but it's just a little
Mm.
kick there, and it's just super good. I totally recommend getting the sour sarlacc there. I think you guys had like some jerky. I forgot what it was called, but I think you guys had some jerky as well that day.
Yeah, I had the I guess the regular one because the other one is spicy, sweet and spicy.
Yeah, yeah.
So the regular one, it's a good chunk, but do I see myself running to get it again? No. But I mean, it's not bad for the price. I want to say that may be the lowest priced item besides drinks.
Yeah, it's around like $5 or $6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty decent for what it was as well. I remember tasting it when you guys got it, but I think I'll give the food there a shot again. But I just think there's like other places in Galaxy's Edge that just has way better food. So we'll keep going through the land and we'll keep kind of talking about it. So if you exit Ronto Roasters, to the left-hand side, you're going to go down some stairs, and this is primarily where the First Order hangs around. It's kind of where you're going to find Kylo Ren walking around as well with some stormtroopers. There's like a small garage there that has different land speeders that are
Yeah.
it's basically a mechanics shop where you can see different
Mhm.
land speeders in different parts. They're being fixed. But the coolest part about that area is that if you happen to catch it at the right time, I don't think it's on the schedule, but you can see Vi and the First Order troopers fighting each other and shooting at each other and putting on like a little stunt stage show there, which I think is just a cool little Easter egg if you're hanging around in that area.
I did not know that what?
Yeah, it's just a cool little stage show that they do. It's kind of like the opposite of like Kylo Ren's, which I'll talk about shortly. But it's super
I
cool.
think You're gonna laugh. I think that kind of put a dent in my one of my ideas.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
man.
I was like, wait, I didn't know that that happened. So yeah,
I
detour.
don't know if I have a video of that. So sidebar, when we went to
Mhm.
Galaxy's Edge, I tried to vlog, and when I try to vlog, there's times that I forget that I'm vlogging because I'm just having so much fun. I get kind of
Mhm.
caught up in the moment, and before I know it, hours went by, and I just forgot to keep filming. So there's a lot of footage that I have that are just these incomplete vlogs that I don't know what to do with. Like, I think we've brought it up before that I wanted to do like from the vault mini episodes on the YouTube channel, and after the end of last year when we didn't know what was going to be happening with Copa, I didn't know if we were going to continue on YouTube, and
Right.
I think we figured out what to do with most of that, but uh, overall, I'm getting to the point where I think what we can do is kind of voiceover, like show some of the stuff and just kind of
Oh.
voiceover and be like, okay, so here we were walking and we saw a dog, and just kind of like play by play everything that's happening, and hopefully that like we get some decent content out of it, because it's hours of footage that I literally don't know what to do with, and it
Oh my
spans.
God. Do you know how much fun that would be?
Yeah, I was just looking at some footage that I had archived from the final run of the goats on Big Thunder Ranch. And I mean, I think it's good enough to at least do commentary or something.
I would love to do commentary. I mean, I think it'd be fun because then when other people watch it, they could talk along with it.
Yeah.
And I love doing that.
Yeah. We should, you know
There
what?
you go. Y-
I want to do that with Disney Plus stuff. Like, we could do like
Ooh.
viewing parties and just kind of talk through some of the stuff, and then we can do our own commentary on it. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once we're up in the new studio space, it'll be much easier to do that. Because
There
then we'll
you
have a
go.
lot more room. It won't be super hot, and it won't be as cramped as it is in this room. So I think definitely on the list of things that I want to do once we're in the larger space. So, anyhow,
Yay.
total sidebar. Sorry about that. But yeah, in that area, there's a short little like stage show type thing that happens, and it's super cool. Speaking of Vi
Uh-huh.
Marathi, we mentioned her in the last episode. She is basically like we described her as the female Poe Dameron. She is such an amazing character that adds so much
Yeah.
to the story of Galaxy's Edge. If you have kids, and even if you don't have kids, you can just follow her around. But she does this thing where she tries to collect as many kids and people with her, and you go on a quest, like trying to get away from the stormtroopers, like you're trying to find this, you're trying to find that, and the whole time she's treating the group that she has like you're training to be a part of the resistance, which is really the entire story of being on planet there at Galaxy's Edge. There's so much of her that resonates in the land that
Mhm.
I feel like if this character wasn't there, I think everything would still be fine, right? But really, Vi to me is the breakout star of Galaxy's
Oh yeah.
Edge in the last year.
Oh yeah, definitely. She stands out and I've had the most fun with her. Oh man, if you guys ever get to hear the phrase or someone just tells you it and you get to tell her, do it. Don't hesitate. So much fun.
The day that we were there, didn't you get footage of you talking to Vi also?
Yeah, but you know what? It was it was the case of remember when you took video and you had it up your nose?
Ah, yes.
That's what happened.
Yes.
I have a picture, but that's what happened.
Yeah, that's another thing that I've done before. I don't think I've ever fully considered myself a vlogger, because when most of your footage ends up pointing straight at your nose and you don't have stuff in
Yeah.
frame because you accidentally zoomed in and forgot to zoom out. For a long time, I didn't have like a camera with a flip out screen or anything, so I didn't know what was going
Mhm.
on. Like if I accidentally zoomed in, well then, great footage of your face, right? So yeah, there's a lot of bad footage as well. I should comment on that, but anyhow, yeah. So Vi Marathi, absolutely a wonderful part of Galaxy's Edge. Definitely recommend approaching her and then, trying to start up a conversation so that you can be a part of, the little band of resistance trainees that she puts together. A little further up is the Droid Depot, but I'm going to talk about that as we kind of wrap around the land. So we'll get back to the Droid Depot. Instead, we're going to go left out of Ronto Roasters, and the first couple of things that you're going to find are if you hang a quick right and go down some stairs, you're going to see Savi's workshop. Savi's workshop is where you build your custom lightsaber. And I love this experience. I've seen videos of it happen. The one thing you want to know about Savi's workshop is that in order to get in, you're essentially paying $200 plus tax in order to reserve the spot to build your own lightsaber. It's not a let me just quickly walk in and let me quickly check out what's going. There's like this whole experience that goes along with it. You're talking to the gatherers inside of the ancient relics that go through. They're picking up these different pieces of scrap metal throughout the universe and throughout the galaxies, because obviously we're living in troubled times. They talk about the legend of Luke Skywalker and the new Jedi, Rey. And then they kind of put you through this ceremony where they make you feel that as you're building the lightsaber, you're becoming one with it. And there's a whole lot of cool stuff that happens that I don't want to talk about because it kind of gives away the show.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that I'm going to be doing anytime soon because it's $200 to do it. Maybe one day I'll do it. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that kind of show the process. There's some really great ones out there. I will go ahead and post a couple of those in the blog post for this episode, podketeers.com/295, if you want to check those out. And one of the videos that I will put there is this experience inside of Savi's workshop, because I just think it's super cool. The lighting that goes into it, the music, the ambiance,
the way that they perform this ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
It hits you. I didn't get to build one. I got to go in, and if you guys are thinking about it, go for it. It's an experience. I don't think, man, I can't even compare this to anything else. Like, it's just,
I don't think they have anything else like this in the park.
It's so intimate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's
because
what it is.
They only allow like 10 people in at a time to build the sabers.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're around this almost like oval like countertop. And so they walk around and they allow you to select the kyber crystal that's going to go inside of your saber or inside of your hilt. And, they explain to you the different colors, you build it, and then the entire ceremony begins, right? But just like you said, it's the story behind it and the way that they do it and the way that they just portray their characters. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy about being in Galaxy's Edge, that in the park, regardless of the land that you're in, you're going to see cast members dressed in the costumes for that particular land. And some of them do a fantastic job of just really making you feel like you're a part of that land. Like we've talked about one of our favorite cast members, Maynard, right? Whenever he's in Adventureland, what a show.
Yes.
Right? It's one of the coolest things that you can experience. When he was at the mansion, that's another thing, right? Like on the mansion, like, wow, he does such a great job. But in Galaxy's Edge, like everyone is just playing their character. Like whenever you talk about Disneyland or the other lands, they're like, oh, is that off planet? Like, we don't know exactly what you're talking about. What is that exactly? And it just plays with the entire story that they're trying to tell you in this land. And that's, I just love that type of like storytelling. So Savi's Workshop, definitely an experience. Again, remember that it's going to cost you $200 to get in there, but it is a super cool experience. Next to Savi's Workshop is Doc Andar's Den of Antiquities.
Ooh.
Doc Andar's. Oh my. If ever there was a place that you can just stand for hours and just look through all of the memorabilia and just really entrench yourself in all of the goodness of the Star Wars universe, this is definitely the place, right?
Yeah.
So Doc Andar, has things from all around the galaxy, and according to the storyline, if he's in a good mood, maybe you can strike a deal with him and get something nice, for yourself. There's so many Easter eggs in just this building alone.
Right.
Obviously, you can purchase different things. They have like the holocron. You can purchase different kyber crystals for your existing hilts, or if you just want to collect them. You used to be able to get the black kyber crystal here, and for reasons that... All right, we'll just talk about it. So what was happening was people were going up to the kyber crystals, holding them up to the light or flashing a light with their cell phone, trying to find the black ones because obviously they are rare. You can't necessarily find them. And when cast members saw that it was creating these big crowds, they decided to stop putting them out there. Occasionally, they'll put one or two out during the day, kind of at random, but it's not as frequent as they used to be. Which is sad, which also is a good thing, I think, because now it really makes it a rare find, and it really does make it an Easter egg. But for those people that still know the little trick, until they change the type of packaging that it comes in, people are just going to keep doing that over and over, trying to find the black kyber crystal. So I think it's easier for them to say, we don't put them out anymore.
Yeah.
So if you kind of walk around the Den of Antiquities, there's some really great merchandise. Like, one of the things that they have is Princess Leia's necklace, which is a replica of the one that she wore in the film that was cast from the one she wore in the film. They went back to the original jeweler that created it. They took a cast of it, and so they replicated it, and it's like $2,000. Or as they say there, 2,000 credits, right? Because $1 equals 1 credit in Batuu. So if ever they say, this is 20 credits, then it's $20. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. Some of the other things that you'll find is like a taxidermy head of a tauntaun, along with some of the other creatures. You'll see a Gungan sculpture. Gungan is the amphibian species that Jar Jar Binks is, kind of up on the second floor. IG-88, the droid from Empire, which I think is the one that assists Boba Fett when he goes off. He's up on the second floor. There's an Imperial Guard helmet. The Mandalorian symbol is up on the second floor, very prominently displayed next to the Imperial Guard helmet. And what's cool is that over on the side, right behind Doc Andar, you can actually see Mando's helmet and his gun from the Mandalorian. And I think I don't know if that was there before the release of The Mandalorian or if it came after, but just knowing that it's there and seeing it up on the wall, super, super cool Easter egg. What else is up there? The Metal of Alderaan.
Yes.
The Metal of Alderaan, which were the bravery medals that Luke and Han got in A New Hope. What else? The Ark of the Covenant.
All the blasters.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Well, that's on the other side.
Yeah, on the other side, the Ark of the Covenant, which is a callback to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That was the best thing I found.
It is such a cool Easter egg.
Yeah.
So you can definitely get lost in this store just looking through everything. It's difficult to see some of these things because they're kind of stacked on top of each other. You're not allowed on the second floor, so it has to be whatever you can see from floor level. And the Ark is actually covered by another piece of art in front of it. So you have to kind of recognize the edges of the piece in order to know that that's what it is. But once you see it, it's difficult to not see it after that.
All right.
So, yeah, definitely head into Doc Andar's Den of Antiquities if you just want to see a bunch of super cool Easter eggs.
Oh, and there's also a hidden Mickey as well.
Where's the hidden Mickey?
It's on the light sculpture in the ceiling.
Shut up.
It's dangling. Uh-huh.
That's awesome. I didn't know about that one.
And I found it by mistake when I was just looking at pictures. I'm like, huh? I didn't even know.
That's rad. I didn't know that one. That's super cool. Right on. Now I'm going to look for it the next time that I'm there.
Along with the many other stuff.
I know, for real, right? Okay, so if you exit Doc Andar's Den of Antiquities, just outside of it is actually the Black Spire, which the entire area is known for. It sits just directly to the right of the doors that you enter into Doc Andar's Den of Antiquities. And there's a few sculpture pieces and some stuff that's out there. There's a giant foot, which actually came from the great movie ride at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So instead of stashing it away somewhere, now it's in front of Doc Andar. So that's a cool Easter egg.
Dude, I just learned. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's a cool Easter egg that ties some of Walt Disney World's history.
I did not. Wow.
Yeah.
And I've written it. And I didn't recognize. Wow.
Across the way from Doc Andar is Docking Bay 7. And Docking Bay 7 is possibly my favorite place to get actual food when you're on planet, because it's got some, like, the prices are a little more expensive than Ronto Roasters. It is more sit-down food, but it's heartier and tastes so good. I remember they have breakfast offerings. They have lunch and dinner, obviously. Mobile ordering is available here just like it is at Ronto Roasters. But at Docking Bay 7, they have something called smoked Kadoo pork ribs. And, oh, man, they are tasty. Woo! I've eaten that a couple times. It's super delicious. They have something called Endorian fried chicken tip yip, which looks like a giant chicken nugget. But when you
I seen that.
Yeah, but when you eat it with everything that's on the plate, it seriously tastes like chicken pot pie. And it's just it's so good. It's so good. Like, I want one right now, actually. Even though I can't eat it, I want one right now.
Soon.
Yeah, soon. The other thing that's really good there that I would recommend is the Batuan beef pot roast. That is super tasty as well. I wouldn't have thought that the pot roast was going to be good, but it was delicious, and I would recommend that as well. This is where you can purchase your sporks now instead of stealing them. I guess depending on what side of what alliance you're pledging, whether you're resistance or first order, or if you're just kind of neutral and you want to be some kind of bounty hunter or something, I guess you can take one. But yeah, they're $10.99. My brother was recently at Galaxy's Edge, and he kind of picked up a couple for us to give away in an upcoming episode. So
oh my gosh,
stay tuned, because you're going to learn how you can possibly win a spork from Galaxy's Edge. And if you're not anywhere near the resort and you want this cool survival tool that we talked about in the last episode, this is your chance to possibly own one. So more details to come. Also, before we continue, I do want to quickly jump in and let you know that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by the generosity of a wonderful group of people known as the FGP Squad. The FGP Squad is a group of listeners just like you that help us out with a monthly contribution via Patreon. If you like the podcast and want to help out, the best way to do that is to start off by going to podketeers.com/FGP. You'll find a link there on how you can sign up to be a part of the FGP Squad. Of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support. Okay, so you exit Docking Bay 7, and of course, prominently displayed in front of you is the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, the Millennium Falcon. Obviously, this is the entrance to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. The attraction, obviously, super fun. You get to select one of 6 different seats in the cockpit that
Yes.
you're piloting the Falcon on, and you get to be one of 4 different things or 5 different positions. There's pilot, there's gunner, there's engineer. 3.
There's only 3.
Three.
And you named them.
Yeah, so pilot, gunner, and engineer. And you all kind of decide what you're going to be. You each have different tasks. If you're gunner, during the scenes, you actually have to shoot down some of the other TIE fighters and things that are approaching you. If you don't, it will drastically change how your scoring is ranked at the end. And if you get to the point where you just absolutely suck at flying the Falcon, you will be told as you are getting off of the attraction.
Which is why I'd rather be engineer. I don't want to be in charge.
Yeah. Engineer, I mean, there's something cool about being, and when you're flying, if you're in the seat on the right-hand side, you are the one that's going to hit light speed. Like everything else, like if you're on the left-hand side, you're going to be controlling, left and right, and that's great. But there's something magical about that seat in the front on the right-hand side, because as soon as you hear, okay, let's hit light speed, and you pull that lever and you see those stars go flying by, whoo! Whoo! I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan, and I got the tingles just doing it. So, super cool. Those are the different positions. The Falcon itself, the queue is just replete with different Easter eggs as well. One of the coolest ones is obviously the little corridor hallway thing where Han and Leia kissed in one of the films. And I mean, it's one of those things where if there's not a lot of people, like it's one of those grammable moments, if you're there with somebody that you care about. So definitely something to look out for. There's porg nests all over the place. You hear sounds like that.
I have not seen one.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of all over.
Jeez.
When you enter the Falcon itself, like the chessboard and just being in that area before you board is just such a cool experience, to see that part of the ship, to be there and know that you're a part of the action. You're in this universe now, right? It's one of those really immersive experiences that just, again, Chewie, we're home. Right? So once you get off of the attraction, you'll get off of the attraction behind Docking Bay 7, and little Easter egg on the wall to your right-hand side as you're getting off of the attraction is a hidden Mickey blasted into the wall. Totally cool. Love it. So if you move towards the front of the Millennium Falcon, you will see Ogus Cantina. And Ogus Cantina, oh man, what an experience.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the coolest things about Ogus Cantina is that RX-24, also known as R3X, now known as DJ Rex, was the pilot of the Star Commuter on Star Tours before we kind of got the new version of it. And we talked about it in the last episode. He's that little plucky young droid that's like, I've always wanted to do this. And he kind of flies through the battle. Love it. What do you say? Now he's retired. This is what he's doing after retirement. He's just kind of playing music at Ogus. I love the detail that went into this, because obviously Rex was kind of glitchy, right? He wasn't like fully programmed to do what he was doing, and that was part of the story that they were telling on Star Tours. In Ogus Cantina, if you hang out long enough, the music all of a sudden just kind of stops, and you hear Rex like start glitching out, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm losing." And
accurate.
Yeah, and he just kind of like shuts down, right? And then you have all of these Batuans that are working in Ogus Cantina trying to figure out like how to restore power, and like power's just out, there's smoke coming out of different things, and they grab this mallet and they hit their power source a couple of times, and then like power's restored, and everybody cheers. And the coolest part about DJ Rex is that you hear the startup tones from Star Tours. Like you hear in the background, and then you just like hear him boot up. You hear him glitch a little bit again, and he says a little bit of the lines from Star Tours attraction. And then he starts playing music from the cantina scene in Star Wars. I love it.
There's just no words. Like, it's happening.
I know. Definitely one of the coolest experiences inside of that location. They do have breakfast selections here. So if you wanted to get like a cinnamon roll or oats along with an alcoholic drink, like, I don't know, maybe you need a Bloody Mary and a cinnamon roll. That's how you get your day started. I mean, I'm not here to judge you.
I ain't judging.
But it's available, right? I think they have just about a dozen items available for breakfast. And from lunch and beyond, they have right around 30 different items that you can purchase along with non-alcoholic drinks, beer, wine, cider. They all have really cool names. It's different things from, like they have like a white Wampa ale, which is like a Heffenweizen. They have a Gamorrean ale, which is a New Belgian brewing company type style beer. We've had a couple of those, and they're fantastic. We had a Fuzzy Tauntaun, which I think was just super good. However, that buzz foam that they put on top of it, that's quite an experience. If you've ever wanted something to make your lips and tongue go numb and just make you feel absolutely weird that you're drinking it, Fuzzy Tauntaun's the way to go.
There you go.
They have something called the Jedi Mind Trick. They have like a flight, which is like collectible with, I think it's Banta teeth that you can get it in. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, they have a lot of different drinks. They do have non-alcoholic drinks if you bring your kids with you, so you don't have to worry. They do have like Blue Bantha milk. They have a Jabba juice. They have a Carbon Freeze. It's different things like lemonade and Powerade and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry. If you do take your kids, it's not specifically just a bar. And they do have a couple of different like snack things that you can purchase there as well. So if you just need like a plate of mixed nuts or something, you can order that. Weirdly enough, you can order a plate of like different cheeses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I thought like you don't go to Ogus Cantina and get charcuterie. Right? That's not like what you would... it's just weird. It's like a weird offering, but it's there if you want it. So I guess for the people that are getting wine, maybe?
Oh, maybe?
I don't know. Anyhow, it's so cool. They have a lot of really cool details. One of the coolest details that I've noticed inside of Ogus Cantina is, if you recall in the last episode, we talked about the first time that Darth Vader had visited Batuu when he was looking for Padme. He enters Ogus Cantina, and it's not specifically talked about in the novel. In Thrawn Alliances is what the name of the novel is. But there's a battle inside of the cantina, and then in Ogus Cantina here on Galaxy's Edge, there's blaster marks, and there's like different remnants of the battle that happened in Thrawn Alliances, which I just think is a super cool Easter egg to have, because it ties that story into what's happening on planet.
That's crazy cool.
Yeah, it doesn't like completely jump out, but it's just a nice little Easter egg to have. Let's see. If you exit Ogus Cantina, hang to the left a bit, you're going to see some bathrooms in case you need to use that. If you keep walking forward, you're going to see the blue milk cart. Over on the right-hand side, the milk stand. Across from that, First Order Cargo is the shop that's right next to the big giant First Order banner, and directly to the left of the TIE Echelon, which By the way, quite possibly my favorite ship in the entire Star Wars
It's
universe.
it's awesome looking at
I
night.
know. The TIE Echelon,
Jeez.
I don't believe has appeared in any of the films, but then again, I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, so I don't know if it appears in it.
I can't confirm it and I can't discuss it
Okay,
yet.
but I know for a fact that it doesn't show in any other ones. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if it's exclusive to the land, but the TIE Echelon I think was inspired obviously by a TIE fighter and Kylo Ren's TIE silencer. But oh man, it's just such a gorgeous ship that even during the day, like at night, it's so cool because there's all the lights and everything, and when Kylo comes
Yeah.
out, like all the smoke is appearing. But man, even during the day, such a beautiful ship. This is also the stage where they have like Kylo Ren come out with the stormtroopers, and they have that cool little show that goes on and everything. And Kylo Ren comes out. I forgot the name of the general that he does the show with, but they're talking about how there's a rebel spy that they're trying to
Mhm.
find, and he's like, "Oh, the spy, is here on planet," and Kylo's like, "Oh, well, let's go find the rebel spy," and so he like chokes the general, he falls down, Kylo takes off, and that's when he starts walking around the land with a couple of stormtroopers and starts interacting with people. Another really cool thing to note about Galaxy's Edge on that note is that it's one of the only lands where, because you're technically off planet,
Mhm.
the cast members get sassy with you. Whether it's the stormtroopers or whether it's people that are
Yeah.
like, there's an alliance to the First Order, whatever the case is, like, you get some lip from them sometimes. And I just think
Oh
it's
yeah.
super fun that they're doing that. It doesn't take you out of the element. And even when you're
Mm-mm.
asking for something as simple as let's say going to the restroom, they'll still stay in character, and I love that.
Totally.
Behind the blue milk stand, there's a couple of other Easter eggs. There's like this little area where there's a lot of droid parts and stuff like that. It looks like there's droids being like almost electrocuted, like they're being tortured, and there's an Imperial probe droid that's hanging there. It looks like it literally getting electrocuted, or it's being set to malfunction or something. But there's like all these android parts. It's just a cool little area that you see. And if you walk a little further, is when you eventually end up in the Droid Depot, which is what we were talking
Mhm.
about just a while ago. So you've made kind of a full circle there. The Droid Depot, oh man, Droid Depot, super cool.
Yeah.
If you walk in there, you don't have to purchase anything. So unlike uh, Savi's, this one you don't necessarily have to pay to walk in there and see what's going on. You can see people building their droids. You have the option of building a BB series droid or an R series, so essentially
Mhm.
something that looks like BB-8 or something that looks like R2D2. um, it's about $100, 100 credits to build one, and then you can take it a step further and add something called a personality chip to each of your droids. And
Yeah.
what that will do is it will essentially align your droid with either the Resistance or the First Order. And if you interact with one or the other, like with the counter, it'll act differently around those characters. It'll act positively if you have a Resistance personality chip, like if it sees Rey or Chewie, another droid that's the same. But it'll freak out if it sees like a Stormtrooper or Kylo Ren or anything like that. So the I don't remember how much the personality chip is, but it's an additional cost on top of the $100 to build the actual droid. But even if you don't build it, they just have all these conveyor belts with hanging droid parts. They have all these bins, and it's
Yeah.
just really cool to look at. I think it's one of the. It's got so much kinetic energy. It's one thing we talk about when we're armchair imagineering, that whenever you can have kinetic energy that goes along with your theming, it
Mhm.
just there's so much to soak in, right? And the Droid Depot is certainly one of those where that was executed just completely, like, it's off the charts good.
Yeah. And I guess you could say this would be an Easter egg. Um So there's always, you always see something new. That's the beauty about Disney. And last month, when I went to Galaxy's Edge in the Droid Depot, um, I'm just looking around, taking pictures, and suddenly I look up and I'm looking at the pieces, and I guess I just never stood and stared. I never did. But I didn't know you could see C3PO
Where?
in the depot. Like he's hanging in parts.
Get
What?
out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. See? Now there's something else I have to look out for next time I go. Okay.
And it's just one of those things that, because you're constantly looking at everything, you could miss it.
Oh,
But yeah.
man. That's super cool. I'm going to have to look out for that next time I go. So yeah, that's kind of the full like wraparound of Galaxy's Edge. Let's. Oh, you know what? There's one shop that I didn't talk about, which has some delicious, tasty treats. Which, oh man, it's gonna
Oh.
hurt to not be able to eat this because, man, I love popcorn. And that's Katsaka's Kettle.
Yeah.
Katsaka's Kettle is basically a popcorn cart, but it's got something called Outpost Popcorn, which has like these spicy and sweet notes to it. It is super delicious. And then they also have something called chocolate popcorn. Well, it's not just called chocolate
Yes.
popcorn. It is chocolate popcorn, but it has like salt on it, and it just enhances that flavor like when you're eating the chocolate. Oh my god. It's delicious. I need some in my life, but in my mouth like I can almost taste it. Like it's just so good. Like it's just
You're not drilling. You're good.
Well, that's another thing. If I do start drooling, I blame this
Uh-oh.
retainer thing because I feel like I've been drooling a lot more. But anyhow, that's not what we're talking about right
Nah.
now. So yeah, Katsaka's Kettle, definitely recommend it. I mean, I would get both. You know,
Mhm.
if you're with somebody, I think each of them has a really great taste to them. But again, I love popcorn, so it might just be the fact that I'm a little biased when I'm speaking of it. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of different things hidden around the land itself. Like there's little tiny Easter eggs. There's callbacks to the original Star Wars films. Right above Docking Bay 7, there's 3 freighters that are on top of the building itself, and they have 77, 80, and 83 painted on the side of it. Each of those represents the years that the original Star Wars trilogy was released. And I think that's a really nice homage to the original
Mhm.
trilogy, especially since we're not getting like a land from those. I think that's a really great way to call back to it. Throughout the land, you're gonna see a lot of this stuff. Like in the marketplace, I think they have these little stormtroopers, like wooden stormtrooper dolls that were cast
Yeah.
from the stormtrooper doll in Rogue One. Like that's how they replicated these, the same way that they did Leia's necklace. The different creatures that you see in the marketplace. Oh,
Yeah.
what's the creature in the pipes? I know that it's the one that attacks Luke. It like when you go to the water fountain, it like pops up in front of you.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Somebody please leave a comment on Instagram or something. Tell me what it is. I forgot what it is. But there's a creature inside of the pipes that attacks Luke inside of the marketplace. You go for a drink of water and you look up and all of a sudden it just like pops out of the ooze or the water that's inside the tube. And I think that's a cool Easter egg. So the last thing that I want to talk about is the Disney Play app, because
Mhm.
the Disney Play app, I think, has really added a new dimension to being
Oh
inside of the
yeah.
parks, especially for annual pass holders. It gives you something else to do when you're standing in line. The fact that you can unlock different little achievements when you're on an attraction. You can play games related to the attraction. You can go on little scavenger hunts. The Disney Play app in the park itself is really fun, but Galaxy's Edge takes it to a whole new level, and I'm hoping that they do something similar on Avengers Campus because
Oh gosh, yeah.
on Batu, your phone is known as your data pad,
Mhm.
and when you're in the app, You can use it to translate Arabesh, which is the language that's used throughout the land. You can there's a translator on there. You can use it to hack into different radio frequencies to take over those towers for the Resistance or for the First Order, depending on what your alliance is. Or you can just be neutral and just make it so that you screw up whoever had taken control of it. If you just want to be that guy, which I think Gavin has done in the past. I think he's just been like, yeah, I'm just gonna be neutral, and he goes and he screws things up. You can team up with other people that are the same alliance to try to work against others. You can use the data pad to see what's inside of crates. Like, they have these barcodes on the sides of them. You can go up to it, scan it with your data pad, and it'll tell you the contents of the cargo. You can use it to see what's behind doors. It's just, there's so much that you can do with it. I wish that there was a little bit more that could influence what you get out of all of that stuff that you do, and I think that's part of what I'm going to talk about in Armchair Imagineering. So I'm going to leave that there. But the data pad and the Disney Play app itself are just such a great piece of tech that they're using to keep you engaged. I remember when we first went to Galaxy's Edge, I was concerned that 4 hours wasn't going to be enough because they had these like 4-hour windows. And I found that 4 hours is definitely enough to do everything, especially considering that at the time Rise of the Resistance wasn't open yet. But really, if you were to walk around Galaxy's Edge and use the data pad, you're going to spend most of your time, and you can certainly spend hours and hours just going through the things in the data pad, playing the puzzles, hacking through things, opening doors, opening boxes, all sorts of stuff, and it's just so fun. Like, you can dedicate an entire day to being there, and you would find stuff to do. And I imagine that it's only going to grow in functionality in the future.
And I've actually seen people do that. Like, they'll be dressed up and to the nines, and they're going through every single thing with their data pad. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah. I want to make sure that one day that I have an opportunity to just go do that. Where I think I've gone specifically for Galaxy's Edge, but it's always for an attraction or because we had a reservation at Ogus Cantina, but it's never just to walk around. Like, I've done it before and I kind of know what the app is about, but I just want to spend like 6 hours there just playing with the data pad and just do everything. Just mess everybody's, like, hack into everybody's tower signals and just mess everything up for them.
As long as they don't know it's us, it's cool.
Well, I know. I mean, I'll let my droid do the talking. So that's it. That's your tour around Galaxy's Edge. That's some of the Easter eggs that you'll find around it. There's some of our recommendations, obviously, for things that, especially things that I enjoy throughout the park. If there's anything that we missed, or if there's anything that you want to share that we can talk about in the next episode or in an upcoming episode, make sure to join the conversation by leaving a comment over on Facebook, Instagram, or on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear what your favorite things are. And let us know which color of milk you like more, blue or green. We've had our own little internal debates here as to which one is better. I can tell you that I had both of them. And, I mean, if I absolutely had to choose one, I'm gonna say green.
Ooh, we're split.
I don't know. I feel like the blue one just tasted like Downy.
See, for me, I liked
You like
and I thought the same for the green one.
Oh, interesting. The
Yeah.
green one seems more grounded than the blue one does. Like, the blue one just seems like a hardcore sugary slushy, and the green one to me tastes like it was made with like they seeped it with tea bags and then they took that and made icy slush out of it.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I mean, if, like I said, if I absolutely had to choose one, I'd probably choose the green one. Maybe that'll change the next time that I go. Maybe it's just the way that I was feeling that day. I mean, overall, I probably wouldn't get it anyway. I'd probably go get a drink at Ogus Cantina instead. So, anyhow, that's gonna wrap it up for our talk on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and some of the things that you can find around in the area. Again, if you've been there, if we missed anything, or if there's any Easter eggs that you'd like to share that we can talk about in an upcoming episode, please share them with us. We'd love to hear them, especially if they are ones that we didn't know about. You know, I'd love to.
Oh, and I'm sure there's plenty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's gonna wrap it up. Until next week, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Bye.